You still got paid while you were gone, so
I
everything.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, Corbin's taking care of you.
Okay, okay.
We've got Corbin and the apprentice James with us today.
Jimmy.
Jimmy, he's learning today. We are anxiously awaiting Coach Games to come through the door. He'll be here shortly. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming. Coming next, Bob, for Friday night is Northwest.
Right. We played them last year and we won, but they had a wonderful linebacker that was just everywhere. I remember talking to Coach Carper after the game saying, man, that guy was a beast. He goes, he's about as good as I've seen. He's about a 6'3", 6'4" linebacker. So Vikings will have to be aware of him.
Please tell me he was a senior last
I
year.
don't think he was. I think he might have been a
Naturally.
junior, but not sure. Not sure.
Naturally. Yeah, when you and I were talking this morning, you said the guy had something like 30 tackles,
Oh,
or at least it felt
he was,
like that.
he was
anyway.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. So,
So that game is starting at 7. We'll be down. We are going there. I'm not sure we've ever been there.
no, I don't think we have. I think it's a relatively newer high school in Portsmouth.
Okay, so they will be, of course, they were here last year, and we will be there next year. Let's talk a minute until Coach Games gets here about last week. Of course, the Vikings come out victorious. Everybody and their brother was wondering, will we play? And it turned out we were one of the few schools that actually got a game in on Friday night.
It was really weird with the weather because it did not start raining till halftime. It started exactly and quit pretty much after halftime. But it was a sloppy game where there was, what do we have, 15 fumbles, which Ohio does not keep records for the most fumbles in a game, but we did run that stat. We did set the record if we were in Arizona for the most fumbles in a high school football game. Not just us, but Alexander as well, because the ball was so wet.
Right.
15 fumbles. We would have also set an NFL record with the most fumbles.
Well, and we kind of had it timed down. Every third snap was a fumble,
Yes.
so we had that figured out. It was it was one of those games you're like, okay, get ready. Now they're going to fumble, and that's exactly
It was
what
a
they did.
proverbial grease pig at the county fair. No one could hang on.
Nobody could hang on, and you felt sorry for the kids because it wasn't like they were doing it on
No,
purpose.
no, it just they couldn't. Even if they had gloves on, they couldn't get a good grip on the football.
I mean, the refs tried drying the ball. They tried everything in the world. As you said, it was a strange evening because, here we are. There's tornado sirens going off prior, not here, but I was at home. I text you and said, hey, I got tornado sirens going off. What are we doing? And we get here and the sun comes out.
And many games were held the next day at noon.
Exactly. So, again, we're still waiting on Coach Games. He did text me, and I know he's coming. He might just be having trouble getting the building.
But the game was good. We had another great game by Lane Hayburn, who just continues to excel.
Another 200-yard rushing game.
Another 200-yard rushing game, and defensively, as always, Luke Dimmel had a great game. Big hit of the game was freshman Cole Ousley just delivered a death-like blow,
Yes, he did.
a Chuck Norris blow to a ball carrier. It was unbelievable.
Well, and you always like those hits where the head of the opponent goes forward and their feet go – well, the head goes backwards and the feet go forward, and that's exactly what Cole delivered.
He did. So the freshman's coming along, so that's good.
We got to make sure we get him his
Coach
shot.
Games is
Coach.
here.
The man has arrived.
I got 3 guys coming.
Oh, that's
Okay,
good.
That's good.
Coach, good seeing you.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I've been out a little bit. I just I don't have you keeping me mentally tough like you used to and making me answer the bell. So
We got him off waivers, Coach.
I'm back. Yeah, they figured it out. So what is it? You got to lose a little blood to win a few battles. So that's what I did.
That's true.
That's what I did.
So, Coach, we've talked a little bit about your upcoming opponent. What can you tell us about them?
Northwest, I thought they played us real well last year, actually, and they've got real good linebackers.
There I go, Jeff. I just told you this guy was as
Exactly.
good as I saw last year.
Yeah, and he's one of those linebackers you can put in the middle of the field and he can play both sidelines, and at the same time he can run downhill and attack you coming at him. I mean, he's the real deal, and so we've really been working on that this week, and they've switched their defense up a little bit this year, so kind of getting used to that. And last year we were able to kind of get behind them a little bit with the pass. So I think they're going to be expecting that. So we're working with that. But and they've got the other linebacker. He's real good too. They're both running back linebacker guys. Number 25, he's tough too. And then I think they've got a high quality defensive end, number 77. And so defensively, they like to get downhill. They like to blitz. They like to get after you. And then offensively, they in the last 2 weeks have kind of fully switched over to the double wing. And so it's that double wing, foot to foot, double tight, double wing, foot to foot, with that fullback's face mask basically in the rear end of that quarterback. You can hardly see him, and they're okay with 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and try to lull you to sleep with that, and then hit a little flood route on you. And they're committed to that offense, and there's been some schools around here that have done really well with it. I mean, Southeastern, made a run with it, and you watch them over. The good thing about football these days, not only do you have quality film, but you also have YouTube, so you can kind of watch their whole season. And they've kind of last couple weeks they've fully transformed, into that double tight, double wing. They'll jump in the eye sometimes, but they want to be in that, and they're, you know, it's power right, power left, wedge up the middle, and then when they catch you going to sleep, you're going to get the counter.
Yep.
So we've been practicing that a bunch. And we're excited. It's a lot of people call that offense kind of football in a phone booth. And what a lot of teams do is they'll switch their entire defense to it, and they'll go into six fronts and all these type of things. And knowing guys that have run that offense, that's what they want you to do.
Sure.
They want you to run a new defense that your kids don't know. And so they're thinking about, okay, we're running this new defense. And then a lot of times if you overcommit to it, you block yourself by alignment, just by packing yourself in. They're like, well, great, that's what we wanted to do anyway.
Exactly.
That's what we lined up this way. We've made a commitment, and Coach Fry, our defense coordinator, he's made a commitment to we're going to run our defense, and we're going to do what we've been coached to do in terms of making our read keys and our ball keys, but we are going to run our defense. And so the kids feel confident because they know our defense. And so we've really just tried to preach, we're going to run our defense, and you stop this kind of offense with mentality. It's kind of you got to be okay with kind of being in a barroom brawl, a real tiny little bar, and you're getting hit in the gut and someone's tackling at the same time, and you got to keep fighting. It's a mentality thing to stop this offense.
Sure.
So.
Sure.
The linebacker, I mean, I remember I interviewed Coach Kerper last year after the game. I said, was that guy good or what? He goes, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, and it was, and he had done a good job, scouting us, and I was calling plays, and so I had to make some adjustments, and I think you want to kind of get him moving lateral before you go at him, and so he's one of those guys, and I mean you've been around football long enough, you don't call plays away from him. Sometimes you option,
Attack, yeah.
that best guy, so I'm not going to go any further, but who knows what we're going to do, but he's a real high quality player, and offensively, if your corners fall asleep in this double wing, he'll bounce it out, and he likes to bounce it out. He kind of reminds you of he's got a mentality of a Lane Hayburn, and so sometimes he's kind of like Lane. Sometimes when the play's broken, that's the most dangerous. That's when Lane's sometimes the most dangerous.
Right.
When he can come to the sideline and say, hey, it wasn't there, and I could do my own thing. He's pretty dangerous. You guys have seen that, and so I'm excited to play against him. I respect him. I think he's good, and I talk to our kids about that. We don't, if someone's good, we respect they're good, and we take on the challenge. You don't take it the other way where you lie to them or fib to them or no. This guy's quality. That's why we want to play games. We want to play games against quality guys because that's how we're going to get better with our young guys, and so.
Yeah. So, as far as injuries are concerned, anybody?
I think we've had a rough couple weeks with that. Starting in Athens, we didn't have a quarterback. And then in the first quarter of Athens, we lose Lane Hayburn. And the crazy thing in that Athens game is, when he got hurt, he was finally felt like he was getting a little rhythm going.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've had a real and I'm looking into it kind of. I'm noticing at the higher levels, how many people are wearing these new shoulder braces, because we've had a real challenge with AC joints, with shoulder problems this and I as a coach, you got to look at it from all angles. I mean, how are we lifting? Are we doing bad technique and lifting? I mean, all kinds of things
Sure.
can make those shoulders weak, and so we're trying to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, Clayton, he's a little banged up with his shoulder.
He came off and had his shirt off for a while. You were looking at his shoulder.
Yeah, and Clayton, he's one of those, he's a Benton County guy. He's a tough dude, and he's going to be out there, and then Bone Ward, he's a little bit banged up. You know, Lane, Lane, he's kind of like a race car. You tape him back together
And set
and
him
re-
out.
and rewire the engine, and you
Send him
put him back on the track, and he's something, man. It's just awesome to be him to be on your team. He went for what 220 yards
Yeah,
last
two
week.
200-yard
week.
rushing games. He
Yeah.
came off one time, and Jeff goes, "He's limping." I says, "That makes him even better." Just
Yeah,
limped.
he's the good thing about Benton County football is we've got Haberns for the next probably
forever.
8-9 years. So
Yeah.
we're pretty pumped about that.
The
So.
best Haber might have been his sister, the wrestler. Chloe.
Oh
Chloe,
man,
Chloe was
Yeah.
awesome. Had her in
Yeah.
basketball. She was tough. I asked her after the game, "Did you make him that tough?" She goes, "I had something to do with it."
Yeah, so we're a little banged up. I think this is, in terms of development and where teams are right now, I think this is a decent matchup for us. I think, sorry, but they're trying to get a hold of me. I didn't get a chance to turn it on silent. But yeah, I think it's a decent matchup for us, and I think it's not. I wouldn't favor it either way. I think it's just going to be who can kind of manage the elements of week 7. I'm sure everybody's banged up. That's part of football, and the good teams manage that stuff and they figure it out. And so I think we've had a good week mentally. I think we're pretty dialed in. And I was pretty rough on them. I wasn't, last that Alexander game, rain and all that. Yeah. But you turn on film. I just didn't think we played well. I thought we had a bunch of mental mistakes, and so we had to get real honest about that, and the kids have responded because I just thought it was I didn't think we played well.
Yep.
I didn't think we played well.
One thing Jeff and I noticed during the game was that we had combined between the two teams 15 fumbles, and we were trying to check the state record for
Yeah.
that. And Ohio does not keep that. They keep records on about everything, but we did set the Arizona state record. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was
I
more than
bet, yeah.
Arizona, and the NFL record.
Yeah.
Oh, there
And
we
the
go.
NFL
So
record.
2 out of 3 ain't
Yeah,
bad.
there we go. That's it.
Although you really don't want that record.
No. And I didn't think we played well, but we played well enough to win. And I think guys like Lane kind of willed us to win the other night. So I'm looking forward to Friday because I just didn't have a real good taste in my mouth after last Friday, and so I can't wait till this Friday night.
Well, and it was strange. I mean, we were talking before you came. You have tornado sirens going off an hour before the game. Everybody's wondering, are we going to get it in? We get here, the sun comes out, and you
Yeah.
play a half under the sun, and then it starts pouring the rain, and then the rest is history.
At halftime, the band just got sopped
Oh,
at
yeah.
halftime, and then it
Drowned.
kind of let up a little bit. But I thought you had. I talked to before you got here. I thought Luke Dimmel just continues to excel on the defensive end of the ball. I mean, if we get a big hit, we could give him one every week if we wanted to.
Okay.
We try to spread that around, but he's played great. I thought that Cole Woosley had the best hit maybe all season. We gave him the big hit of the week, so he really just drilled a guy.
I mean Cole, our schedule was really front loaded this year, and starting a freshman's always a challenging thing for a coach, and Cole took his lumps, but he is going to be a special player. I tell you what, he's a special athlete, and now you're starting to see glimpses of it.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see glimpses of it, and wait till you see when the ball's in his hand what he can do with those hips of his. I mean, he's just a special player, and he's going to be one of the guys you're going to talk to tonight. So if you can get him to talk, he's not the.
Oh,
He doesn't talk. He'll talk to Bob.
He's
He'll talk to me.
kind of like his dad. He's a man of few words,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's a great kid.
Great kid.
He's just showing you glimpses of what's coming, and he's just such a compliment to that group of sophomores. And you're right about Luke Dimmel, and I think if you want to say, Coach, what's the number one key to this Friday? Hunter Hoyt at nose and Luke at Mike. because they're going to run that wedge play a lot, where it's basically 10 guys coming at Hunter Hoyt and Luke Dimmel, and it's, hey, can those two guys man up? And that's why I keep calling it kind of a barroom mentality,
Oh, sure.
because the whole bar's coming at them, and they better be ready to fight.
Yep.
And, let's switch bases for a second here. The TVC is some pretty good teams in there with Nelsonville. Wilson's having a phenomenal year. You still got them. You got River Valley, of course, after this game,
Next
right?
week. Yeah.
So it's been a pretty good league right now.
Yeah, no, the league's a lot better. I think it's gotten a
Athens.
lot better than last year. Athens is certainly clicking, and they've kind of built for this year. We've seen them the last 3 or 4 years, and they kind of had that really good class, and they've become seniors. And so, I hate losing to them, but I know a lot of them from wrestling, so I'm happy they're kind of getting their year. And that Wellston game, if we can stay injury free, we've got that thing circled. And so with Nelsonville, I keep telling our players that, because we have so many players go to Buckeye Hills, that us coaches, we might wear Buckeye Hills shirts that Wellston game and call that the Buckeye Hills Bowl. Because
There you go. I've got one if you want one.
you
I
know,
can help you out.
because especially guys like Luke Dimmel and Hunter and those guys and Lane, they're down at Buckeye Hills every day, and everybody's talking crap, and and so we've got a long way to get to Wellston, but we certainly have that one circled, and that's going to be a fight.
Yep, it will be. It will be.
So, I just think that you've had a lot of guys step up on the defense. I thought your defense played a pretty solid game last week. They did not get. I think they didn't have a first down until.
They had negative yardage.
Yeah,
They
negative
had
yardage.
one first down the very first possession. They had
first
3 the
possession, yeah.
total game.
I thought you guys played outside the fumbles, a relatively penalty-free game again, and I think that's something for a young team is very impressive.
Well, I'm not going to ask you anything about a secret weapon this week. We've talked about a secret weapon until we wore it out.
Well, the secret weapon is we're going to manage 4, and we're going to go at him. We're going to trick him. We're going to do everything.
There you go.
So
That's the secret
He's a
weapon.
tall
That sounds
kid,
good.
about 6'3", and
yeah, he's a big kid, and you always watch last year's film and compare it, and I thought one of the best players in the region last year was Owen Heyer.
yes,
yeah.
And
Agreed.
him and Owen, man, if you watch last year's film, those two guys were going at it on both sides of the ball. It's a fun to watch that last year's game, because those two guys were banging, and he kind of has a similar body. He might be, I don't know if he's as thick as Owen. He might be a little bit faster than Owen, but he's got a good mentality, and he's coming to play.
Owen's on your staff. I saw him walking up to the bleachers.
Yeah, we have some of those guys, helping out with video and that kind of thing, and so that's one of my things is I want to develop young guys here at Benton County, because I think we've got some guys that can be quality coaches.
Sure. Well, and Owen's one of those kids that you described earlier that just comes to whatever you ask me to do, let's go. And I'll do it.
I think he was a kid last year. We said could play any position on the field. If you wanted him to be the quarterback, he'd be a good one. If you wanted him to be a linebacker, he played line, he played tight end. He could have played anywhere, just like this kid from Portsmouth.
Well, I think I've said this before, going down the stretch last year for that league title, I think he was the key. Because if you noticed how much late in the season we went to that tight end, and and especially in Southeast Ohio, if that tight end is a factor, he not only can block, but you can get him out there in space. It's just dangerous down here. It's dangerous.
Sure. Well, I saw some heads go past the.
I didn't know if they're the ones
they
calling
got
me saying,
in.
"Hey, how do I get in
Yeah,
here?"
I don't know if they got in or not.
I'm wondering
Maybe
if
he's
that's
gonna go check.
if that's.
Yeah.
I bet
Jimmy's
that's what the
gonna go
guys were
check.
calling me.
Hopefully they didn't leave.
Yeah. Hope not.
Yeah, you got just letting you guys know you got Cole Ousley, like I said, and freshman corner and quarterback, and then another freshman, kind of doing some really young guys tonight. Kid named Caden Elliott, who's really been stepping up.
Caden well.
He's really been stepping up at our JV games. He's going to be a special player. And then a guy that's really stepped in the last 2 weeks with some of our injuries, Drayden Tolley.
Oh, yeah, he's been
Yeah, absolutely.
So we try to balance getting guys opportunities to come to this show, and I don't believe these 3 it's going to be their last time on this show. I bet they're going to
Probably not.
They're going to be here down the road unless they get injured, especially because Cole and Caden, they're pretty special freshmen, and then Drayden's just on both sides of the ball. He's been, when we've had an injury or someone needs a break, we put Drayden there if that's free or corner, and then he's been playing a little tailback for us.
A little fullback as well.
Yeah, I was one of, him and, Elijah, some of our smallest guys I think have the biggest heart on our
Oh,
team.
sure.
And Drayden, you can be 6'5", 310. He's coming right at you. So he's awesome to have around.
It's kind of like we've watched, these young guys kind of grow up in front of us.
Yeah.
You've talked about them on different
Yeah.
occasions, and now you're kind of like, okay, I see what he saw.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and then, your grandson's he asked me the other day, now at some point I'm going back to running back. Yes, you're going to go back there at some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
He just likes to switch jersey numbers.
Yeah.
It's just good.
I said to him, what position do you think you're playing this week? Probably quarterback, right? No, not
Nah,
yet.
probably not.
Not yet.
If you switch those jerseys and someone buys your jersey, you get that NIL money. So if you have
There you
more
go.
numbers, you get more
He's after
NIL.
the money. I'll
No,
tell you right now.
he doesn't like that
Yeah,
50.
Jimmy says don't know, so you have to check for us, Coach.
Yeah.
I bet they're at the door. That's who's trying to get a hold. Out front, did you go like to the side doors?
Okay, check the side
go
one.
here?
Okay. So there's some
Nothing
guys.
there.
The somebody just came in. Again, I think just switching gears for a minute, I do want to get Travis Bucklow on here one of these days. the
Yeah.
wrestler. I mean, because I think he's really one of the great untold stories in Benton County. He's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be
Yeah.
a Hall of
Oh,
Famer.
sure.
What he's done. I really like that kid. Want to get him on one of our shows here pretty soon.
No, he and Travis. Good news about Travis. He had a real bad injury this
Yeah.
summer, and he's finally back to training. And last year, not to get too far off football, but last year we went state tournament, and his bracket, you could have wrestled that bracket 3 different times, and you had 3 different winners, and just based on some calls and those type of things, he could have won it last year. So.
So these guys are coming in. They look.
There we go.
They look a
We've
little
got some
nervous.
of them now.
We'll
They
get 'em,
don't
we'll
look
get 'em.
nervous or nothing.
We'll
They
get
look fine.
We'll get him here.
You've trained them early.
There you go. And Caden, he won't stop smiling. He can't stop looking
Caden's
at
not
me.
going to stop smiling.
I was supposed to. I couldn't do it, but I was supposed to go to homecoming with Caden, but I had some kind of emergency thing come up Saturday, so I'll be his date to the winter formal.
I see.
I'll
Do you
be
remember when
his
you-
little snow bunny.
Oh,
I
there you
remember,
you go.
I remember when you used to come up to Jeff and I would be arguing which one got to interview the homecoming queen.
There you go.
We
There
didn't-
you go.
We got to do that yet. So there you
We
go.
haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
That's,
haven't
Bob
done that
always interviews the
Yeah,
winner.
that's
Just
right,
the way
that's
it
right.
is. I just never get a shot.
So we want to do one
Let's
of those.
get one.
Which
Yeah.
one of you guys wants to come up first? Come on, Cold Dog.
Let's get the smile.
This guy and I go way back. Cole, good having you, man. So Cole
You're not gonna
Woosley
stop
here.
smiling, are you?
We always called him the Cold Dog, man. So that's
Okay.
good. That's good. I thought. By the way, you don't know this, but you got big hit of the week last week for that hit that you got. How'd you feel about that?
Pretty good.
That was
Make sure you get a shirt.
that was a pretty big hit there. And
Yeah.
Coach was singing your praises here, all 3 of you, before you guys got here, and playing some defensive back. And it's kind of tough as a freshman to be a defensive back, particularly those first few games we had those passing teams.
Yeah.
So how did you react to that?
It was pretty difficult, and I just had to overcome them.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing the Cole Woosley that we're going to see here for the next couple of years, and being a quarterback here as well. So you like playing defense or offense better?
Defense.
Okay, well that's good. You get to stick people, and that's good. And you also play basketball. I know that. And you love baseball, right?
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Mm.
Don't worry, the coach is standing right.
He
in
won't-
the
he
door,
won't
right?
hold
Don't
that
worry, He
against-
won't hold it
that
against you.
I'm giving you
Baseball.
immunity. Baseball.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm giving you immunity. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. So, what do you want to see this team do this year? You got Portsmouth Northwest. What do you want to see? What are your goals for this team, Cole?
Be a winning team.
That's good. That's good. So you guys are 2-4. You got let's see, what does that
Got
mean?
no-
You got 4 games left, and
Got
then maybe a playoff
Northwest,
game.
River Valley,
Wellston and Nelson.
Wilson, and Nelsonville. You got 4
You
left.
can get them.
Yeah.
You can get them. So you ready for Portsmouth Northwest this week?
Yeah.
Probably got a pretty good linebacker there for them, from what I understand. So
Yeah.
you'll be ready to take him on. So that's good. So what's been your most fun thing this year?
Probably switching between the positions. Dog safety, cornerback, and quarterback.
What's been your favorite moment of the year? I know what mine was, but you can tell me what yours was. Go ahead. It was when you drilled that guy last week. So
Yeah.
that was great. How about well, I guess what's your goals when you get out of school, Cole?
Probably go to college or, yeah,
Want to play something?
Yeah.
What do you want to play?
baseball.
Baseball's great. My son did it. Greatest thing in the world. Get to travel around. It's great. It's great. So, well, you're pitcher, right?
Yeah.
Pitcher. What else do you play?
And shortstop.
And shortstop. Best athletes in the world play pitch, short, and center. That's where you're at. You play center any?
Nah.
You could. When you go to college, your best athletes go to the outfield. Believe it or not, what best position? You know where the best athlete goes in college baseball? It goes to right field, which is what usually
Always.
usually the opposite in little league. So that's good. So he'll be a freshman this year, be playing
Yeah.
baseball. So that's great.
We'll have to watch out for him when we do our one
Our
baseball
one
game this year.
broadcast against Wellston, which we always bring home a win with that. So
Yes, we do.
That's good. That's good. So, all right, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
My parents and my grandma and grandpa.
Your sister's down in the gym
Oh, yeah.
coaching girls basketball. She can't hear you, but it's okay. So we'll say you send a shout out
Yeah,
to her.
we'll
Better s-
include everybody.
You better send a shout out to Josie.
Shout out to JC.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right, Cole. Anything else you want, Jeff? You got any questions for
Nope.
Cole?
No,
How do you like
just
the
keep
nickname?
Smiling.
We gave you the nickname Cold Dog way back when. Who gave you that?
I think you.
I think that's right. I think that's right. So, anyway, Cole, good seeing you, my man.
Good seeing you.
If there's
job.
a nickname in this county, it's Bob did it.
Oh,
I
this
can tell you that.
who's going next?
Who's
Caden.
coming next? Caden?
He's got one. He's got one too.
Caden's got one.
He's got one too.
Okay.
What's up, big guy? What's up? So this guy right here is also. I know he plays baseball as well, right? You like it?
Yeah.
And you, what are you playing at?
Pitcher and catcher.
Okay, good. You gonna catch that guy?
Yeah.
Is he pretty wild on the mound?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. What do you do when you go out and talk to him?
I just try to give him a little pep talk.
There was a pitcher named Bob Gibson who's in the Hall of Fame, and the catcher that caught him was Tim McCarver, who was pretty good. He went to the mound one day, and he goes, "What do you want?" to the catcher, and he goes, "I'm here to calm you down." He says, "The only thing you know about pitching is that you can't hit it." So there you go. How about that? How about that? So Coach was bragging about you, how you're playing on the JV. So what positions you been playing this year, Caden?
I play middle linebacker on defense, and then offense. I play wide receiver. I play fullback sometimes, and I played tight end sometimes.
You had a youth coach that wasn't very smart, me, and I had you at center instead of putting you in the backfield. But I think I had to because of your weight requirement at that time. So because you were bigger than the rest of them, I think. But
Yeah, I was a little bit over the weight limit.
yeah, that's okay. You weren't overweight. You were just over the peewee
Just the
weight
lim-
limit. So
peewee
that's
weight
good.
limit,
That's
yeah.
good. So what's your favorite? Do you like playing offense, defense better? Which one?
Offense.
Offense. Well, good. Most people like playing defense because they can stick people. You like offense better. Scoring touchdowns is pretty cool.
You can truck people too.
But that, do you hear that,
There
Jeff?
you are.
You can truck people.
You can truck people. That's
good.
exactly
good.
right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what's your favorite? Do you play basketball still?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one's your favorite sport?
Baseball.
Baseball. Okay, cool. What do you want to do when you get out of school?
Probably go to college for baseball
That's
or
awesome.
any sport I play.
That's awesome. Baseball's a great sport. Great sport. I lived that firsthand. It's good stuff. Good stuff. So, your mom and dad, they're always big supporters. You're there at everything. So that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Anybody you want to send a shout out to?
My family.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And his nickname was E.T. because Elliot, that's what I called him, E.T. when he was younger. So
Okay.
Elliot. So that's it. So, Jeff, you got any questions for this
You're
guy?
doing good.
That's good. So what do you think of these two guys here? You've already said something about Cole. What about Drayden there?
He can run the ball really good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You see, pretty easy to bring down in practice.
No.
Okay. How about Cole?
I don't ever really get to tackle him.
Oh, okay. All right. There's not too many freshmen on the team this year, right? There's only like 5 or 6 of you guys, so got to get those numbers up. So that'd be good. That'd be good. So because you guys are the future here, and then Drayden's a sophomore, right? So that's good. That's good. So anyway, what's your goals for the rest of the year for this team?
Win.
Win.
Mm.
Well, that's a good goal.
That's a good goal.
That's a good goal. And you got Portsmouth Northwest. You guys ready for them?
Yeah.
They got a linebacker that's pretty good. You ready to truck him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. Hopefully they're not listening to this and give us some bulletin board
Yeah,
material.
that's going on the bulletin board.
Bulletin board material. So that's good. All right. Anything else you got?
No.
Always a pleasure, my man. See ya. We'll get Drayden in here.
Drayden.
Good seeing you, Drayden. Well, Drayden Tolley has been a beast this year. He's come in the last 2 games, and you look at him. He's running tailback. He's running fullback. He's playing linebacker. He's playing DB. Playing everywhere. So, and you're running the ball hard.
Yeah.
What's your favorite position?
Probably running back.
Running back. Well, you ran the ball well. So, do you like running from like the tailback spot or the fullback spot?
Tailback.
Okay. We were debating. We were giving you the benefit of the doubt. 5'10", about 175. That's probably not right, is it?
No.
What is it?
Wait, you said 5'10"?
Yeah.
You said 5'7" on I rewatched it. You said
Oh,
5'7".
5'7"?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Hey,
okay.
I'm glad somebody's watching
I'm good.
Uh,
5'7",
and paying
5'5".
attention.
5'5".
Yeah.
What's the weight?
About 132.
Well, that's awesome. That's all you need. He said you're like 135 of instant death. This is instant death. This is dynamite over here. So that's awesome. That's awesome. There you go. Look
There
at
he's
that.
got
There
it.
he goes.
There
That's
is.
what we need.
He's
That's what we
posing.
need.
Now we're talking.
That's what we need. Now on defense, you like playing D too?
Oh yeah.
Which one do you like better?
Me personally, I like special teams because that's your most important place.
And I don't know if you did. If you listened to the broadcast, I did say keep your eye on Drayden Tolley because he gets a lot of sticks on special teams. I'm a
Yeah.
big special teams guy because you can drill people on that.
Yeah.
And high school teams don't play those kind of sissy NFL rules where you're sitting back. You guys are
Yeah.
playing regular football rules, right, Jeff?
If they bring that to high school, it'll ruin it. It's
Yeah.
ruined the NFL, really.
Yeah. So what's your goals for this season for the team?
Just grind it out, work as a team, just come together.
That's good. That's good. And what about what do you want to do when you get out of school?
I don't really want to go on with football. Just do some welding or heavy equipment. I don't know.
Gonna go to Buckeye Hills probably next
Buckeye
year.
Hills.
Okay, cool. And do you play any other sports?
I did play baseball, but this year I think I'm gonna do track so I can get my speed better.
You go wrestle for Coach Games. He'd make a man out of you. People say if you wrestle for Coach Games, if you go into the military, it's a snap. That's what I've heard from everybody. If you wrestle for him and you go into the armed services, boot camp is a snap. You believe that?
I mean, we done in the off season we done some of his workouts and they were pretty tough, but
Got
Yeah.
through them.
I, I coached with him 1 year, and he had a player once that I said, how do you like Coach Games? He goes, for the first 30 days, I stayed awake at night thinking of ways on how to kill him, but I would walk through Hades for that man now. So he earned your respect. There's no question about that. So that's good. Anybody you want to send a shout out to?
just my family and Jesus, God, our Lord and Savior.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me just see that again when you just kind of instant death
Yeah.
and a dynamite. There he is,
Guys,
right
make
there.
sure you
man.
get that stuff.
That's it. Make sure you got that. Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job, Drayden. Continue to run that ball. So.
He's one, Bob. I kind of feel like we've watched him grow up.
Oh, I thought last year there was signs with him. Last year he came in and had some big games, and I think we had another kid that transferred. But you could tell he was going to do some
Yeah.
great things.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
three guys right here, they're what you call, as George Allen once said, the future is now, and they're the future.
Yep.
So bringing Marcus back in here.
Well, and they all look like and sound like they're very coachable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're three kids that I want you to run through that wall. Well, we can't, but we'll try.
Yeah.
You know,
And they'd smile while they're doing it. They were all smiling
Oh,
here,
yeah.
so it's good stuff. Good stuff.
no one said they trying to figure out a way to kill you. That's good.
Well, as long as they work together to do it, that's
There you are.
Now, that person that said that loves this guy. He
Yeah.
said, I've never seen anything like, but he loves you now. So it's good. It was-
Well, and you and I have been doing this a really long time. There are coaches that, in the very beginning, the kids they have to adapt, they have to figure it out. But we know coaches, and you're one of them, that the kids would run through a wall for you if they had to.
Well, we got one of those guys on our staff that, Tim Oosley, who
Oh, yeah.
coaches for us, and when Tim was a freshman, I was I was coaching linebackers, and he had a real good junior high career. And
Mm-hmm.
I let him know the first day up. I said, junior high's over, bud. And he said that first month, I literally wanted to kill you, and now he's coaching for me. So he's doing a great job. I need to get him on there. He's not a guy that's real camera, doesn't like to get in front of the camera
Yeah.
a lot, but we're going to get him down here because he does a great job, and he coaches Drayden and coaches Elliott, and they know he doesn't play around.
Right.
He's kind of an old school guy.
And he had, you're a college All-American, and that's just an impressive thing.
Oh, absolutely so. Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of coaching him in basketball, and he didn't really like basketball, but I said, you're going to be point guard today. He said, why? I said, because you're going to be point guard today. And he'd do it, so it was okay. It'd be good.
No, he's special.
Yes, he's great.
He definitely is, and he's a good role model for these youngsters to look up to. While I was involved with the school system, I really got tired of hearing poor, pitiful Vinton County.
Mm-hmm.
So then you take a Tim Oosley and you take others before him. There's your role models, guys. You don't have to be anything but
he's-
the best you want to be.
He's great. And just to go from here to go to Muskingum and become a college All-American was
Oh,
just
absolutely.
And he's humble. He would hate to hear. He doesn't like no one talk about that. He's all about these young guys, and And you know, I always joke with him because I forget what game it was, but we finally got him to crack a smile, and he put it away real quick, you know. But we got him to smile one time this year. So
He didn't smile much, guys, Coach Usley.
No.
But
Well, if-
you know he's got a smiling heart, though.
and he's real tough on Cole because that's family. So
oh
you know,
yeah.
Cole's
Well,
got
you don't have a
know,
chance.
Yeah, Cole doesn't have a chance there, so that's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild.
We do a little. We and I don't want to. It's kind of a special thing to us, but we have a little oath, and we talk about some of the families that have kind of built the program, and so
Oh sure.
you know that Ousley name is a strong Benton County football name.
Well,
Absolutely.
Cole's dad scored his first game at Byrne Union. I remember that. 4 touchdowns as a freshman. You probably don't know that, do you? Also, he also set the all-time gym record at Central Elementary for most points in the game as a 4th grader. But
Really?
he'll ask him about that too. He'll mention that. So.
Well, Ryan Cottle's one of my best friends, and he works for me, and he tells me about basically it was him and JD. And when it was covered two, it was really just 2 corners. You had half, and I got
Yeah,
half.
The other half,
and
yeah.
then one, and Cotto would usually intercept it if it
Yeah.
he was a beast at that.
You know, they tell me they had like one year they had maybe 15, 16.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a crazy
It was
amount of
It
interceptions.
was crazy. It was crazy.
So, but
But 2 more that loved the game. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
play. They would do whatever it
And-
took
and
to
have-
get it.
and-
To get it.
and both have coached here, so that's good.
Oh sure.
So you also got, we got these 4 games coming up that we've talked about, but you still got playoff opportunities, correct?
yeah, I think I don't know where we're sitting right now. I think we're like 13th, maybe, or
I
15th.
looked. It's
15, 16, I
yeah.
don't know, it's somewhere around there. You know, if you look at the, those websites that kind of project it out and, if we can go, 3-1 or 4-0 in these next 4, it looks like, we might play like a Waverly or maybe having a rematch with a Uniota,
Mhm.
now if we sneak in, we might have to go over to St. Clairsville, but, it's a learning experience,
That's
you
a
know what I'm
learning
saying?
experience. So that's a nice long drive. You get
Yeah.
to see the Ohio River.
Yeah,
along the
so
way,
we'll-
so.
And it's
Well,
definitely a learning experience.
We'll make sure we go out to eat a nice place there.
There you go.
But so we're focused on Portsmouth Northwest, and it's like I said, it's going to be a battle. That offense. We're going to get in that mindset, and we've been having fun with it. I've been running the scout team at them, and trying to get a little excitement going. So I think we're ready. We're ready.
Sure. Unfortunately, you're only going to have home cooking one more time out of these next 4
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, but Nelsonville, it's tough now because, when I first started 20-some years ago around here, it was about Wellston, and it's turned into, I don't know which is more of a rival, Wellston or Nelsonville.
Yeah, I think
You
you're
know,
right.
I mean, and Nelsonville can put this on the bulletin board. I'm not a big fan of the place, and from the colors to everything about the place, and so and I'm real public about that. So, those 2 teams, I'm glad it's week 9 and 10 because that's when it should be, and it's basically you get to play your neighbor you don't like, and then your brother on week 10, and so it's a great
There you
thing.
go. There you go.
And we won't be doing the Week 10 game, right, Jeff? Because
Well, the Wellston crew will.
so
Okay.
it won't be us. but
We'll talk about it though.
Maybe we'll just have you guys come down on sideline and just
We could.
just
We
do
could-
it.
yeah.
Do
We
it.
could just do that. We'll just do our own broadcast.
we'll
We'll
just-
interview Cole and
Now,
Kate
Yeah.
and
the only
Drake.
danger of that is he'll want to start calling.
Oh, I know.
play.
You're-
32
you're-
bootleg, 32 bootleg, 32 bootleg.
you let
You'll have to keep him in check.
if you let him down there, you're on your own.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah,
can
You
tell
know,
you.
I tell you what.
I think Garth could keep him in line.
There we go.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
we go.
I think Garth could too. So we did score when I was offensive coordinator.
Oh no, you were great. I mean, heck, we ran the table that year.
Yeah.
We ran the table, and that Nelsonville team was had some good players that
Yeah.
beat up on.
It was good. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. Now, Marcus, your team, let's talk a little bit about some of your junior high. How's your junior high doing?
I don't think they've lost a game.
Really?
I don't think they've lost a game, and they've been a combined. But there's some. I mean, you got a Hayburn in there.
Oh yeah.
He goes by Mo Old Lathan.
No.
Little Claire. Little Claire's going to be a beast. Little Nolan Claire. I call him Little Claire, and Dom. I mean, they've got some really great players. They kid that, has kind of come out of nowhere, that Mills kid,
Mhm.
Austin, I mean, he's a freaking athlete, and so they're playing real good. I don't think, I'm pretty sure they had a tie. They tied with Athens, and they were actually down by 2 scores to Athens and came back. and supposedly that Athens team's unbeatable, and they tied them. If I think there'd been any more. In fact, there was a touchdown called back, and so they're playing real good.
Okay.
And part of that is our middle school staff has been consistent now for what 4 or 5 years, and
Right.
that's just huge. And so Coach Moore, Coach Oosley, Coach Sean Bourne, and Coach Claire. I mean, and,
Four good guys.
they're Vinton County guys.
Oh, yeah.
And so they do a great job.
And your JV team, how's it doing?
Our JV team, they're fighting their butts off now. In other years, we've got some guys that are playing on Friday night that would play a lot in JV games, and so we're feeling that a little bit. Now we have some of those guys play a couple quarters. But when a guy like we'll have Drayden, sometimes play a couple, and Cole plays a couple quarters. There's not a lot of continuity if they're only playing a couple
Sure.
quarters. So they're fighting real good. And like I said, Caden Elliott, Caden's kind of come out of nowhere, and heck, and when we have to pull people in the second half, you'll see him out there at quarterback. Sometimes I think he's going to throw the ball to himself, but he's really emerged, and we knew he was going to, and we're just super excited about his future.
Well, and it looks like you've got. I mean, how many seniors you got this year? I lost count.
I think there's 9 or 10.
Of course, not like 18 last year.
No,
or whatever.
and some of them are kind of first year seniors. They're doing a good job, but we usually have 7, 8, 9 sophomores on the field. So
And your line has done a great job for you this year, and you've played 6, 7 guys there, and your 3 guys in your defensive front. You rotate them out and in and out, but your line's been key for you.
no, I mean with offensive line, the beautiful thing about that is just look at the stats, and Lane Haber's sitting at like 799 right now. He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry, and he's got 4 games, so I think he's he stays healthy, he's going to be 1,000-yard guy, and Lester, I think he's maybe 300 or 400, so no, they've been running the ball hard, and up front, with Dimmel kind of leading them, but Bowen Ward, he's been huge this year. When he's on, sometimes he can cave in the whole side of a line when he's feeling it, and Zach Ramsey Jr., he's kind of another leader up there. Does an outstanding job. Probably knows the offense better than the coaches do. And then we've got some sophomores that are starting to come in. Trenton Sheets and some of those guys. They're starting to emerge.
Lucas White.
Lucas White's been great.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. That's basically your line right there? Your tight ends.
right now it's right. Lane Danner runs tight end, but right now we're running Thacker there a little bit. Mulhern re-injured that hip. And Mulhern was having a hell of a year. We do drills. That kid doesn't miss balls. I'm telling you, he's got some of the best hands I've ever seen. And he was another one that, from week 1, to Athens, man, the improvement he made. And he's going to be, he's an Owen Hire guy. He kind of works like him, kind of the same personality. Can catch like him, and then he's a heck of a linebacker too.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And you say he's injured? Is he?
He's
back?
injured. He re-injured. He broke that hip last
Right.
spring,
I remember that.
and he caught a ball at Athens and took a hit there again, and they kind of got a deep contusion down deep in there, and so it's one of those things where I think he thinks he could play, but doctors really want to get this thing healed, so we're not doing this all the time. So.
Yeah.
Sure, makes sense.
We were talking about special teams, and Drayden said, it was the first guy I've ever had I've interviewed. I love that answer. I said, what do you like best? He goes, special teams. I love that.
Yeah, I mean Drayden. I mean, and I always go through making sure, and Coach Klein kind of helps out with our special teams. Like Drayden's on every special team except for PAT, right? That kid needs to be on every special team,
Yes.
and I'll check in with him. Son, you're on every special team, right?
Yeah.
Because and he's right. Special guys play on special teams. And so far, I think. Special teams, we haven't been bad. I thought Megs, we weren't as good as we could be. They got that fake punt on us, But we've been pretty solid. Caden plays some special teams for us, punt and kickoff and those type of things. So,
I was his coach, and I wasn't a very good coach. I had him at center back then. It's just kind of like
Well, that's what I'd heard, and I think in middle school he played a little tight. He was kind of a lineman, and
defensively we had him at when we needed to be at middle linebacker.
you
We had him
know,
where he was supposed to be. So.
and now he's been tight end and playing a little slot for us too, and I think he loves playing that slot. We're just going to see if that body doesn't outgrow that position. We'll see, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
So
Yeah.
I'd say he's not done growing.
no,
Just from what I see.
Yeah. I think all three of them are going to be. Yeah, I mean, and if coaching for a while, that transition from sophomore to junior year, sometimes you don't recognize them because that's when a lot of physical and mental maturing happens, and so.
Every time I see Cole, I said, "You used to be a point guard. You're looking like you might be the center on the basketball team here if you keep growing, man." So that's just good.
Yeah, Cole's. I ask him every day, quarterback, receiver, running back. What do you want to do? Yeah, I don't care. I don't. He's one of those kind of coaches. He does whatever coaches says. But and there's times I don't know what's best for him. I mean, because he can do all three pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about the NFL kickoff rule, which I personally despise with every ounce of my being. It looks like college and high school are just tougher than the NFL right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the NFL. I mean, but the market wants that ball in the air. It's a quarterback's league now. It's starting to feel like basketball on turf a little bit. It's kind of us old timers. So. I mean, I still love it, and I'll watch Pee Wee football. I'll watch anything, but college football still feels kind of, especially we were watching Alabama the other night. I mean, they're still
Great game.
still using that tight end, and I really like what that coach is doing because he's lining up in power sets but running spread plays. He keeps you guessing. Some of his shifts and motion. I was the other night watching that game. I was just making notes and oh man, look at that. What if he's a special coach at the board.
Yeah, he is.
So.
It's been interesting.
Well, he's brought a new life to Alabama.
Yeah,
They've been the same and very successful. I don't mean it that way, but he's brought a new perspective to the whole team.
No, I've been badgering the coaches, because as a Bobcat, I'm not a big Buckeye fan, and I was like, yeah, you guys can have your Jeremiah Smith, and we'll take that Williams and roll with him. I'll tell you what, that it wasn't the one he bobbled; it was that game winner, and that game winner. I mean. Those two Georgia DBs that run into each other, they're probably first-round draft picks.
Oh, yeah.
This is a 17-year-old kid, because we always joke around with Cole a little bit, because I think he started the season, he was still 13. He just turned 14 like in preseason.
13?
I think wasn't that he was 13 out there in
Really?
the summer, and we go over there to Uniota and I'm like, kid just turned 14. He's going against that Blake Hoops, who's probably 19 years old.
Oh yeah.
But it's beautiful. Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. And anytime. That's what I love. I just love the resiliency of this group, especially these young guys. Hey, knock me down. I'm gonna jump right up and I'm gonna say what's next. So.
And you've said that every time we've been here.
Yep. So.
And that's good. You're playing a lot of young guys because that'll help you next year and the year after and the year after that because these guys are, well, at least two of them will be here for 3 years and one for 2. So that's awesome. That's awesome. As an ex-college player, what is your opinion of the NIL and all that stuff?
I don't know. I mean, when I played.
You could join the Reggie Bush lawsuit as an ex-player. He's going to bring get some NIL money.
I mean, because coaches always reminded you, they'd remind you when you weren't hustling, hey, we're giving you $60,000 and, tuition, room and board and all that. And
Not quite the same.
No, not quite the same. But, so I'm kind of, I started to appreciate that. And when I was in college, a lot of guys that were in my class, they don't have to give you that scholarship every year. And a lot of those guys didn't realize
year to year, yeah.
And I can remember, a couple close friends of mine. We were going into we finished spring ball. We were going to get going our 5th year, and after spring ball, after they pound on you for a couple weeks, you have a meeting, with the coordinator and the head man, and I can remember some of them coming out just crying their eyes out because they weren't getting renewed for that 5th year, and they had kind of planned, that out, and I don't think it was real communicated to them, and college coaches, they're under so much pressure. If you're not the right fit, they're going to move on, and if you're not the right fit with the direction they're trying to go. So, I don't know. I'm an old school guy, but I do buy that argument. Watch that 30 for 30 on the Fab Five, and I can remember Chris Webber talking about, I got $4 to get a cheeseburger, and I'm watching people buy my jersey. So I kind of buy into that argument a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if we've just turned college into the NFL, because when it's not only NIL, it's that transfer portal.
Oh, sure.
The transfer portal, I think, makes it very difficult for a high school athlete to get recruited compared to what it used to, because you could go get a fifth-year senior and get and particularly in a quarterback position. Are you going to take a kid right out of high school? Or are you going to go get a transfer that's going to be a fifth-year player?
Well, you look like, I played at OU, and I mean, the MAC has now become a farm club, and, I mean, you look at Curtis Rourke, OU's quarterback last year. He's on the Heisman watch list at Indiana now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's got Indiana, 4-5-0.
Yeah.
He's playing lights out, and he would have never had that opportunity without the transfer porthole, But the other side of that is, you like some of those guys that are committed to their school.
Right.
You take a, Archie Griffith, Chris Carter. I mean, would they have ever transferred? I don't know. And who knows with the money and it being that easy now? I don't know.
I think it makes it difficult for the coaching staff too, because you've built your program around this one kid.
Yeah.
He's leaving because he can get X.
So they got to go out and they got to find guys,
and they got to look all over again and start all over.
You got to hustle, and you look at OU right now. The guys that are making plays for them this year, they're a transfer from Vanderbilt.
Yep.
They're a transfer from South Carolina. So some guys are coming down, some guys are going up. And so you got to have assistant coaches that can not only sit in that high school kid's front room, but go to that dormitory of that kid that's in
In college.
it's the Wild West.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Wild West.
It is, and hopefully college sports can survive that, because it's going to be. And Mark Cuban actually predicted us about 10 years ago to be like 5 conferences. There's going to be pay for play,
and it's coming.
The one thing I don't understand, and I'm certainly not you guys are much more a basketball guy than I, but if I look at college basketball, I haven't seen the impact as much because you're still seeing those mid-majors really competing.
Well, you're getting 5-year playars there.
Yeah.
5-year players, and that's huge versus kids that are one and done at the other schools.
that are all
5-year
leaving.
players are huge
Oh yeah.
because cohesiveness.
Well, nowadays, if you get the COVID year, you can play for 6-7 years.
6 or 7, yeah, absolutely.
So-
Well, and you mentioned it in talking earlier. It's the consistency. It's hard to get consistency when you've got guys moving every other year.
Oh yeah.
So how do I build a program if I'm only going to have you for a year or for 2 seasons at the most, whether it's football or basketball, really?
Fortunately, that hasn't hit high school athletics.
Well, yeah. Well, one couple years ago, my D-line coach was Tim Hinton, who's been on the Buckeye staff now for about 15 years, and he's doing administrative stuff now. But I was talking to him, and he said that we have 12 graduate assistants that sit in a room, and their job is to watch 25,000 plays a month on Huddle, trying to find kids.
Wow.
25,000 plays.
Yeah.
And he said they're graduate assistant students. They show up, they go in that room, and they click on that computer, and they've got forms they fill out, and they send them up the chain. But 25,000 plays a month.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Yep.
That's all you could say. It's a business.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize how much. When I was in college, you get to know some of those assistants. And it's not about how well you coach. It's business. It's when you recruit someone, do they get on the field?
Mhm.
And that's how assistant coaches get promoted. It's like sales. Did the sale go through? I mean, we spent this money. Did it get on the field? Well, then you're going to move up the chain.
And you'll move.
Things have changed since the day when Woody used to recruit a guy just so someone else wouldn't get him. He might never play for 4 years, back in the day. So.
But he was a Buckeye, so there you are.
Yeah, there you go.
No, the Buckeyes spent some money this year.
Oh, we talked before. What, $20-some million?
They spent some cash, man.
And they got some players. I mean, they got some players.
Oh, yeah.
About it. No question. Maybe the Browns could use a couple of them. But it's,
The Browns could just.
Is Chubb coming? Is Chubb coming back?
He practiced today.
He practiced today.
He
Now,
practiced today.
Is he out through the first 5 weeks? Or
I think
is he,
he's out one more week, and then he's coming back.
Yeah.
I think. And then Hall is out till the 6th. He wasn't hurt. He just got suspended. But
That's the one thing you guys agree on, right? The Browns.
exactly.
The Browns.
I agree that I have been a bad dad because I've taught my son how to be a Browns fan and Indians fans and Cavaliers. Our heart just continually gets broken my whole life. I should
Yeah.
probably be
But
charged with some sort of child
you're a baseball guy. I'm
I
not.
know,
Do the
I-
Guardians? They've got
Yes,
It's
yes.
pretty
pitching.
good.
Pitching's the key, right?
I actually think that they could not have. I mean, I want them to win, but the Tigers are the hottest team in baseball. Came from nowhere, made the playoffs. They got the 3 best pitchers in baseball in a short series. Cole might agree with me if there's not, but they got the 3 best pitchers in baseball on that staff. So fortunately, they had to use 2 of them in the short series because the Guardians got a bye. So if you can avoid getting 2 of their 3 starters, you got a shot.
got a
But they're
shot,
they're
yeah.
almost unhittable. They're almost unhittable.
Yeah.
Yes,
And that's the key at the playoffs.
yeah,
It's pitching.
Yeah.
pitching. Yeah.
And if you ever call him during the day, and he says, and you ask the question, which you never should. What are you doing? Guardians are on at 2:30. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Does he refer to that as a G hearing? Is that on the docket? It's a G hearing.
Well, I
A
can
G
wa-
hearing?
I can listen to it on Sirius also, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So they do. Who's going to win it?
I want to say the Guardians, but I don't know. I think the Yankees will because you have a stadium where you got like a 100-foot right field
Right
fence
field
where they can
fence.
hit on. I just don't like that. But what do you think, Cole? Who's going to win it?
Cole's not saying.
Cole's not saying. So Caden's a baseball fan. What do you think? Don't know. So I want to root for the Guardians.
They may not be as in tune as you are.
Yeah,
Would that be a good statement to say
I,
since he sees
there
it
was,
every day?
There was 1 week this year, or it have been 2 weeks, where I had the Guardians, the Browns, and my other favorite team, the Indiana Fever, with Caitlin Clark on at the same time. I got 2
Wow.
big screen TVs in there, and I was watching one on the phone, so it doesn't get much better than that.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm waiting out when Andy Grillo finally retires from baseball
I
to
don't know
get him
that'll
coaching.
happen.
I mean, how long can he go?
That might be
He's,
a while.
he's getting ready to go to Arizona for a couple weeks.
Oh.
He's looking, or for a week. He's looking forward to that, so that's good.
Yeah, that might be a while.
That team, they're going to Arizona and play.
They go to Arizona. They made it to the over 25 and older World Series the last 2 years. But when they get there, you go through the rounds and you make it. By the time you might play a team in the first round, you play them again in the finals. Entirely different roster of guys that used to be minor league players or major league players, Mexican league players. And like last year, he sent me a text before the game. This guy pitched in the major leagues. There was a 42-year-old left-hander. I go, how is he? He says, still throws gas. He throws a breaking ball that'll just make you bend at the knees.
Now, what position does he play for that team?
He plays. He started out playing right field, but he's been playing third base, and he'll pitch. He'll pitch some. He plays some short. So, but they're all pretty good. Every one of them played in college and professional, or college, or some sort of level of the minors. But the league's real good. There's a lot of guys that pitched, made it to like AAA and things. But when you go out there, you'll see guys that were in the show, and it's pretty amazing. Now, those guys, some of them will play in that because you get more money than you would be if you were in the minor leagues and you're 40. Because those guys play year round. They just travel around team to team and play that. stuff.
Okay.
So it's pretty big baseball you don't hear much of. So it's pretty cool.
And they're called. What's their team called?
They're called the Columbus Pirates.
Columbus Pirates.
Columbus Pirates. So, and they actually lost a couple games this year, which they don't normally because their league's pretty good.
How would they do against a Paints?
They would compete. They would,
Really?
They would compete.
Yeah, they would compete, no doubt.
They joke that they're the second best team in Columbus behind the Clippers. So
And that could be very true.
yeah,
Now, the Clippers would be a huge step up.
that would be a huge step up. But they have the guys that played, for the Buckeyes and stuff on their team occasionally. But these guys, a lot of them are, they're older now, so they're not.
Sure.
But you still get pitchers throwing gas, so it's cool.
Bob wants to compete, but Andy won't let him.
No, baseball was never my thing, but I love it. So it's good.
Now, you're always a baseball guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Oh, absolutely. Every
like it.
time. Every time. Well,
Anyway,
Coach,
Jeff, that's
we've
good.
got about 30 seconds.
Oh.
Any last words?
No, just, always thanks again. And we just love, guys, people, I tell coaches, you don't understand. We've got freaking commentators that are been here forever. They got coaches show. It's just amazing, man. And just, hey, you got to get down there early. We're leaving like at 3-4. It's a heck of a drive down there to Portsmouth Northwest, man. So we look forward to it. And it's going to be, you guys are going to have a tough time announcing because that double wing off, it's hard to see who's got the ball. So you'll have to really be watching.
And our eyes aren't near as good as they used to be.
One thing I'll say about it, how great it is. I mean, I see these 3 guys right here and coach 2 of them. I think that's the most beautiful thing is you see these kids grow up
Hey.
right before your eyes and you know them and you just see what, not just athletes, but just what good kids and what good families they all 3 come from.
Yep.
And that's just a beautiful thing you don't see in the big cities.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
for sure.
definitely.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it. We appreciate Cottle Chipping and Logging for sponsoring us another time this week. So for tonight, Bob Grillo, Coach Games, Jeff Thacker saying good night and God bless.
Free beer and hot wings in the morning, and Southern Ohio's best